Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Fix This. In this episode, we're going to teach you how to tear down a Maytag Maxima dryer and replace a noisy idler pulley. So to get started, we're going to need to take the top off the dryer, and that's accessible with two 5/16 screws on the top of the back of the dryer. Slide the lid back and up and off. This here's the door switch located right next to the control panel. Little tab to release, and then the door switch plug will come undone. Got 1/4-inch screws holding the control panel on, one on each side, so we'll remove those. We're going to disconnect the touchpad cable. There's just little tabs on those that you just push, and then those cables come right undone. In order to take the control panel off, there's just little tabs underneath the panel there that you just got to pull up and away. There's a tab right there. Definitely easier with two hands, but I'm holding the camera with one. Once those tabs are released, the panel comes right off. We then have three 1/4-inch screws that run across the top of this front cover. We'll remove those. Once those are removed, we're going to tip the dryer back. You can prop the dryer up on something or just hold it. They're not super heavy, but there are four 1/4-inch screws. You're going to remove the two outer, and you're going to loosen the two inner screws for the panel. The panel will sit on those two inner screws. Then we need our Phillips head. We're going to remove the two Phillips screws that attach the front panel to the bulkhead. Once that's done, we can lift the cover straight up and off. And once again, it's just sitting on those 1/4-inch screws at the bottom, and then there are a couple clips up top to hold it in place. We'll need to disconnect our moisture sensor, two tabs on the side, and that unplugs pretty easily. Then we're going to remove this, the metal cover bracket. Two 1/4-inch screws on the front, and then we have two more 1/4-inch screws on the top. And that just pulls up and off pretty easy. Once that's done, where you need to remove the front bulkhead with four more 1/4-inch screws. Now the bulkhead's not going to fall down on you. It is being held by a couple tabs up top. So you can remove those without worrying about it. Then there is a blower cover anchor strap that you need to remove with a 1/4-inch. One screw, and then it just pulls right off. Once that's done, you lift up and pull away. It'll stick a little bit because the drum is attached. I shouldn't say attached, but it's resting on the rollers. So once you get that off, you're going to pull the idler pulley to the left and slip the belt off. This will make it so that we can remove the drum from the dryer, and the drum just pulls right out. Sometimes the belt gets stuck, so you just got to move the belt off the drum, and then the drum will pull free. Now this dryer was making a squeak, so we're going to check our idler pulley. Sorry, I didn't have sound recording, but the pulley's really not spinning very well and squeaking. You can see these other pulleys spin a lot more free. The motor spins free, but this pulley is really stuck. So in order to remove that, there's just a plastic triangle clip, and the pulley comes right off. I like to grab a really fine grit sandpaper or cloth, anything to clean that pulley off because it gets some yucky stuff on it. Slip the new pulley on, the new triangle bracket. That's all there is to it. New pulley spins great. Now we're going to reverse our steps. We're going to slide the drum in. I like to put the belt around the drum when I put it in place. For me, it makes it a bit easier. You're going to line the belt up, wrap it around the pulley and the motor. Just pay attention to how that belt came off, and then you'll be able to put it back on. I always rotate the drum to kind of line the belt up before I put the dryer back together. Now we got the front bulkhead. We're just doing things in reverse now. We set the bulkhead on the brackets at the top to hold it in place. I'll show you what those brackets are. And it just rests on it, but the one thing you've got to make sure is that the dryer is I'll show you. You got to make sure it's inside the frame and not on the outside, or the bulkhead won't go. So you can see the bulkhead is inside the dryer, but the clips at the top are outside. Otherwise, that's not going to go back on. Then I push on the bulkhead, rotate the drum to pop the rollers into place, and now we're good to put our screws back in place. Got the four 1/4-inch screws to go around the bulkhead. It's really not difficult, but it is time consuming because of all the steps you have to take. in order to take this dryer apart. We're going to reattach the blower housing strap. Just set it in place like that, and then 1/4 inch screw. It's easier if you have an extension bit, which I have one. I was just too lazy to put it on my drill. Reattach the moisture sensor, and we're going to set the control panel bracket on, and it just sets in place. And then we have our 2/4 inch screws on the front. Now the front's a little trickier because you have to set the front of the dryer on the 2 screws, line them up. Sometimes you have to look under. It's a little trickier than than it looks. But make sure you take the door switch cable and feed it up under the stainless, or the metal cover. And nope, you're not going to feed it through that hole. I end up moving it. But the door switch goes to the side, and then your metal control panel bracket needs to come up on top in place just like that. And you can connect your door switch. And we're going to put the screws, 2/4 inch screws to hold the top of the metal bracket, and the 1/4 inch screw to hold the control panel bracket in place. Now we're going to attach the front bulkhead with the 3/4 inch screws. Those are being held in place previous by just the brackets it snaps into, because we had to lift it up and off to get it off. 2 Phillips screws to reattach the bulkhead. Now we're going to lift the dryer back, and we are going to put in the screw we took out on the right, tighten the 2 in the middle, and then reinsert the screw on the left. Once that's done, we can put the control panel back on, feed the wires through the big round hole, and the panel just snaps right on. It's pretty simple. Hardest thing is fishing the wires through. And line the panel on, or up, line it on, line the panel up, and you'll just give it a nice firm press across the top, and you'll hear it snap into place. And 2/4 inch screws that will secure that panel. Go ahead and plug that touchpad or control panel into the control board, and the light switch as well. I like to make sure my wires are nice and tight and in place, and that's all there is to it. We're going to reassemble the top and plug the dryer back in. Sorry I didn't have footage of the other screw. I thought it was recording, but it wasn't. But that's all there is to replacing an idler pulley on the Maytag Maxima dryer. Don't forget to like and subscribe for weekly videos on how to fix your own appliances. Thank you.